So yeah, what I'm going to do now, and I will cut this as a separate video for people watching on YouTube. You're not getting the full analysis of everything. This, I'm going to talk through a solo that I did as part of my Patreon group. This was a beginner's challenge. Most of the guys have gone and transcribed this, did a great job. I've just filmed for, I don't know, 20 minutes, giving them feedback on all of their transcription efforts. Now I'm going to show you my transcription, and I'm going to talk you through the thought process, analyzing it post. I'm not thinking quite like this when I'm playing, but it shows how everything can fit nicely in a box. So here is my transcription. Now, when we look at this, I'm going to say it's perfect. It is perfect. I transcribed it and it's my playing, so why wouldn't it be? Point is, all of my beaming is correct. Actually, I've just spotted a few things that I might change. I might consider flipping that. Oh, there we go, like that. Oh, I had some sort of weird crash there. That was strange. I might flip those like that. Again, here. Just flip that. That way it just kind of fixes the note heads. Anyway, I'm not analysing my my transcription skills. Yeah, so if you look at what I've done with this transcription, I've gone through and I've put the chord symbols above it. And this is a blues. It was an unaccompanied improvisation, but I'm still thinking of a blues form. And usually when I'm improvising on an unaccompanied blues form, I do tend to play a quick change blues. So you'd expect this to be a D7, but when you look at what I'm actually playing here, you've got a C followed by a C sharp. Well, that's the third of A. This is a chromatic approach note leading on to the third of A. So this is very much a lick that's A mixolydian. So I can't put a D7 in there because it's definitely not a D7. I'm definitely playing A7 at that point. So yeah, when I look through this, you're going to see the same basic principles over and over again. And this is just part of my playing style when I'm in that kind of early swing sound. But yeah, chromatic approach note onto the third, right? This is just me playing the triad. Chromatic approach note onto the third. And you've got some simple mixolydian vocabulary. Chromatic approach note onto the third. Again, just playing with the arpeggio. Chromatic approach note onto the third, moving up and ending on the root, okay? That's a phrase for A7. Then at this point, the chord changes. The chord changes to D7. Oh, would you look at that? Chromatic approach note onto the third. F onto F sharp. It's a D7 chord, so F sharp is the third. So chromatic approach note onto the third, right? And then I'm just playing triad. Oh, look, chromatic approach note onto the third. Playing the phrase. Now here, the chord changes back to A. I anticipate this change by playing an eighth note early, because it's swing and that's very common. And what do? Oh, look at that. C to C sharp. Chromatic approach note onto the third. Makes sense? This bar, this threw some of the guys transcribing it. There were a few wrong notes in this bit, but in essence, this can look crazy and intimidating, but it's not really. It's a C sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, which is a 3 to 9 arpeggio substitution on a dominant 7 chord. Playing from the third of A7, you play up. This is the third of A7, this is the fifth of A7, this is the flat 7 of A7, and this is the ninth of A7. So C sharp minor 7 flat 5 over an A bass note gives you an A9. Yeah, simple stuff really. Here, I'm not going to say this is a bum note because it's diatonic, but it's not the best note choice. You know, the E7 chord lands and I land on the 4th. So then I immediately jump back to the 3rd and I play up kind of E. This is like an E major pentatonic / E7 vibe. Then I resolve by hitting the 5th of the D7 chord, coming down very much a D7 arpeggio. This is, you know, arpeggio tone, arpeggio tone, arpeggio tone, arpeggio tone, arpeggio tone, chord tone, chromatic approach note onto the 3rd. Surprise, surprise. Here this is still 2 more notes of D. I'm playing the A7 a little bit late. You've got a D and an A, which is the root and the 5th of D. But then I quickly resolve and give you that A sound by hitting, oh, look at that, C to C sharp, the 3rd moving on to the flat 3rd to the 3rd, chromatic approach note onto the 3rd. Triplet playing a simple arpeggio of A7, scalar ideas, right, Mixolydian scale, with chromatic approach note onto the 3rd, and then ending up on the root. So yeah, now I change position. I kind of jump up the neck a little bit. Same basic principle though, playing Mixolydian stuff around the neck, and then we're in shape 1 or E shape, and for the D7 chord, so 10th fret. And again, look, chromatic approach note onto the 3rd. I do it again and again. Here, C to C sharp, chromatic approach note onto the 3rd of A7. I'm just playing, you know, I'm anticipating that by an 8th note. I'm playing an 8th note early. And then I shift down the neck, playing these diatonic 6ths. Here, here, here. And you have a chromatic passing 6th there, which is nice, very country. Same principle here, right? F onto F sharp. That's leading into what? F sharp, the 3rd of D7. So chromatic approach note onto the 3rd. Come down here, there is a chromatic passing tone here. This is the, what do we have there? The flat 5 onto the 4. And then, look at that, chromatic approach note, F to F sharp. Cool. And then again, C to C sharp, because I'm changing my perspective, thinking A7. Simple up an A7 arpeggio, Mixolydian vocabulary, E7 arpeggio, D7 arpeggio. Here, I actually have a chromatic passing tone where I play the 7th. So this is root 7th and then flat 7. You could analyze it and go, oh, you're playing the Mixolydian bebop scale there, or the bebop dominant scale if you read in all of your David Baker books. I'm not thinking bebop dominant scale. I'm just thinking about playing a chromatic passing note to connect up 2 chord tones. C to C sharp, chromatic approach note to the 3rd, Mixolydian vocabulary. Here, I guess you could analyze a little bit more. Here you've got this like an E minor 7 arpeggio, so E minor 7 over A is me playing a minor 7 off the 5th of the chord, gives me like an A11 sound, E minor 7, and then here you've got A7 vocabulary. Again, chromatic approach note onto the 3rd, happens a lot. A7 chord, D7 lands here, again, chromatic approach onto the 3rd of the chord. A7 lands, chromatic approach onto the 3rd of the chord. Chromatic approach onto the 3rd of the chord. I'm saying that a lot. Are you noticing a pattern? It helps with the overall sound of things. Up a D7 arpeggio. Down is a chromatic approach onto the 3rd there. Yeah. So here we play B, A, G, F to F sharp. Then A and the F sharp again. So just dressing up the sound of that chord. A7 lands, and then I play this diatonic 6th thing that I like to play. E7 arpeggio, straight, nothing interesting there. D7 straight, nothing interesting there. Land on the 3rd of A. Cool. So let me just hit play on that so you can hear what it sounds like, to give you an idea. And you'll hear these chord changes, even though it's unaccompanied, you will hear these changes. you get the idea. Hopefully that was of some use or interest to you. So for everyone over in the Patreon group, yeah, if you have any questions about that, talk to me in the group, and I'm happy to go into more details. If you're watching on YouTube, comment section, I am usually here. And let me just extend a huge debt of gratitude to some of my patrons. These guys support me over on patreon.com for various amounts. As you can see on screen, you can support me for as little as $1 or $1. Why did I say buck? I'm English, living in Scotland and making YouTube videos mostly for Americans, so that'll be why I said that, or why I justify that. But yeah, seriously, thank you very much, guys, for all of the support. It does help me to take time out of my transcribing and teaching in order to make videos for people, and yeah, people enjoy them, so that's cool. If you'd like to check us out on Patreon, you can do so by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe by clicking this button down here, and you can check out 2 more of my videos here and here. And of course, a big thank you to VPix for sponsoring my channel. So if you want to head on over to vpix.com and check out some of their picks, that would also be appreciated, because they make great picks and I love them. So much love, guys, and I will see you for another video soon. Bye.